year is 2000. It's a brand new millennium. We all survived Y2K. The computers didn't kill us all, thank God.
In the year 2000.
So let's go back a little bit. What was happening that year? Well, everybody was playing Snake on their mobile phone. Brad Pitt and Jennifer Aniston were dating, and we were just a few years removed from, sadly, a couple kids having seizures while watching a Pokemon cartoon. Look it up. It happened. Look it up. And, most importantly, Bigfoot allegedly broke into a construction site near Arundel Mills Mall in Hanover, Maryland. Arundel Mills Mall features over 200 stores. I mean, they got a Medieval Times, Cinemark, Egyptian's 24 theaters, Dave & Buster's, a Bass Pro Shop Outdoor World, and not one, but two Wetzel's Pretzels. And a bunch of other things, like this annoying train that just drives all over the mall and almost runs into people.
Where'd you get 'em? How'd you get 'em?
Okay, so apparently the location of where this incident occurred was at this retention lake. It wasn't like actually at the mall site. It was kind of around here because this whole area has been built up recently with all kinds of restaurants, and they even have like this retro McDonald's. But it was so close to the mall that I'm convinced that Sasquatch was trying to go to the mall. He knew about Arundel Mills and he was all about the hype. All right, I think I found it. I think it's behind this Men's Warehouse here. Looking to see if I can spot any Bigfoot prints in the snow. Huh? No, that's a regular size foot. Dang, I thought I was onto something here. And I think this is it. So, I believe Sasquatch was over here 26 years ago. I found a report from Michael A. Frizzell about an incident that occurred around the surrounding area back in 2000 as the mall was being built. Also, holy crap, Michael A. Frizzell, is that any relation to Mrs. Frizzell? From the Magic School Bus. I'm getting Magic School Bus vibes, my God. So Michael, he laid out everything that kind of happened kind of before and after. He's able to find even legit police reports and even some interviews and field notes from the actual people that saw this alleged creature. He starts the report off with a quote from Eden Philpotts, quote, "The universe is full of magical things, patiently waiting for our wits to grow sharper." Hell yeah, brother. That's some art right there. We're on a mission right now to expand our consciousness and our mind. And also that quote really doesn't have much to do with the story I'm about to tell you. I just really wanted to paint a picture of what's going on with the Frizzell man. Also, I think my tripod might be sinking into the snow. I think it is. My tripod is sinking into the snow. For those who don't know, this is what I'm doing right now. The tripod's going down. Okay, sorry about that. We're back. Michael goes on to write, quote, "This report has been an earnest labor to establish the truth. In late July of 2000, several bricklayers working at a Maryland megamall construction site claimed they were badly frightened by a huge, dark, bipedal creature. They reported their experience to police. A policeman investigating at the site also saw something unusual but refused to talk about it in great detail." End quote. So I'll leave a link to this report. You guys can check it out. Michael goes into a lot of detail before the event and after the incident. I'm going to be paraphrasing a lot of things that happened, but if you want to learn more about it, check out the link.
That's new. There were forwards for me, your big feet and you. From your ankle up, I'd say you sure is free.
So I've been coming to this mall pretty much since it opened, but I had no idea that there was an apparent Sasquatch sighting around this vicinity. And I recently found out about this whole story thanks to Dan Bell. He's really gotten me into the whole Bigfoot thing. We went Bigfoot searching in the woods back in the day. I fell into like a stream at one point, but regardless, we didn't find him. We didn't find a Bigfoot or a Sasquatch. But I've been pretty much obsessed with finding one ever since. So basically, I want to believe. I just want to take a second to point out that this food court used to look so cool. They had this train that went all the way around the whole thing. And now it's been replaced with this crap. This boring, bland crap. The stupid like Edison bulbs and wood and gray and tan. They still have like some remnants of it in the signs with those colors, but this mall used to have crazy things all over the place. These middle sections of the mall used to kind of have like these decorative things all over the walls, and like there's like a pinball thing, and it had so much character and personality, I guess, to help you kind of get a bearing of where you were. Like, oh, I'm in the pinball section. I know where I am. Now it just all looks the same, just barren. Oh wow, and this mall has a Toys R Us too. Is Toys R Us coming back? Am I unaware of its comeback here? So essentially the story goes like this. I believe 3 construction workers had gotten permission to sleep in their van overnight at the construction site that they were working at. And that's when they encountered, allegedly, something. At approximately 12:30 a.m., Jerry, one of the construction workers, whose name has been changed for safety and all that stuff, decided to take a quick bathroom break. Upon exiting the rear door of the van, Jerry claims to have startled a huge fur-covered animal that was located about 50 yards from the van. He yelled to get Chuck's attention, one of the other construction workers in the van. The men watched what they described as a, quote, 12-foot tall, fur-covered animal with glowing red eyes run swiftly toward the western perimeter of the construction site. They said it ran on 2 legs, hunched over with hands that hung to its knees. As it fled, they claimed it bounded atop a 15-tall mound of earth in one jump. All right, a bit of a show off there, Bigfoot. He proceeded in the direction of the flood drainage pond and quickly vanished within the forest on the western edge of the site. Thoroughly shaken by what they had just seen, they decided to get the heck out of there, and they drove to a fast food restaurant several miles up on the highway. At about 12:40 a.m., they called 911 from a public payphone outside the restaurant and reported what they had observed. They basically said they were confused and startled, and they just kind of assumed maybe it was a crazy person in a giant gorilla costume running amok through the construction site. So that was a problem. And at that point, they were like, oh, they still didn't know what they had seen. They were really freaked out, and that was the most logical conclusion they came to, and probably the only sane thing they could tell the police. In response to the 911 call, Anne Arundel County Police dispatched Officer Nicholas DePietro, who met them at the restaurant and took their statements. Moon pies. Wow. What a time to be alive. I've always been really into the urban legend of Bigfoot. Maybe more so about people's belief about this unique cryptid. I mean, there are people who have dedicated their lives to finding this creature and just studying it and doing all kinds of things. Like, what makes a person believe in Bigfoot? There's been eyewitness accounts of them going back generations. We had that infamous Patterson Gimlin film. You know the one. You've seen the one where he's, you know, we've seen that one. You go online and you'll see countless shaky cam footage or blurry pictures of Bigfoot. Plus, all sorts of countries around the world kind of have a version of a Bigfoot or Sasquatch or like the Yeti, or, you know, there's some type of giant ape-like missing link between man and primate just out there in the world. There's also some cultural and spiritual significance. For many indigenous communities, the Sasquatch is a respected protector, or in some traditions, a spiritual being closely connected to nature, often viewed as a relative rather than a creature to be found and hunted. Or maybe it has something to do with the appeal of the unknown. Bigfoot represents a rejection of the idea that the world is entirely mapped out and understood. Sasquatch acts as a symbol of mystery, freedom, and wilderness. So there's a lot of thoughts just surrounding this urban legend as a whole. So why the heck can't we find Bigfoot? I feel like we live in a modern era where we got drones, we got thermal technology, and just way too much time on our hands. Why haven't we been able to capture real evidence of this creature's existence? It's such a big thing. We should be able to just go out into the woods and, oop, there it is. Oops, I accidentally bumped into it. It's freaking a giant man-ape thing. I will say this. Big things are not always that easy to find in the woods. There is allegedly a 3-foot flying squirrel in a rainforest around India. Now, think about that. You know how big a little squirrel is? It's a little guy, right? Okay, they're little. A 3-foot one, that's a big guy. That's a big freaking squirrel in the woods. Why can't we find that? Why haven't we been able to spot it? You know, that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying is, just because something is big doesn't mean it's necessarily easy to find. If Bigfoot doesn't want to be found, Bigfoot ain't being found. You know what I'm saying? Getting back to the story at hand, the workers were so spooked and scared about what they saw that they just didn't even want to return to the site. They're like, we don't know if it's a crazy person in a gorilla suit. We don't know if it's Bigfoot. We don't know if it's a crazy animal. Who knows? We don't want to go back there. But eventually they did go back around 3 a.m. With the officer to see if they could find the creature or some evidence of it. Quote, they drove to the drainage pond area on the western border of the construction site. Officer DePetra began inspecting the area with his vehicle's floodlight. In its beam, they all reported seeing a pair of glowing red eyes in the tall grass near the pond, around 300 feet from their position. At this juncture, the workers already had one frightening encounter too many, and they decided, let's go back in the van. The officer's light continued to scan the grass at the edge of the pond. He spotted a large, dark shape, presumed to be an animal, sitting or lying near the water. It was just kind of like flat against the water. Maybe it was drinking. I think at one point he described it as he thought it was like a rolled up carpet. That's how long it was, about like 10 feet in length, kind of laying on the near the water drinking. Expecting to get some type of response from this creature, the officer sounded the vehicle's bullhorn several times. The powerful blast elicited no reaction from this dark shape as it remained motionless and silent. After about 45 seconds, the shape slowly moved away from the pond and disappeared into the nearby woods. So that's apparently where it was, and it went off into the woods, which now it's all been developed into homes, so clearly Sasquatch isn't there, or maybe he has a home over there. We don't know what his monthly earnings are.
Your feet's too big. Don't want you 'cause your feet's too big.
This is a cool looking chair, but my God, it's so uncomfortable. So eventually, Anne Arundel County Police enlisted the help of the Maryland Department of Natural Resources, the DNR. They concluded that everybody probably just saw a bear, a black bear to be exact. They did a survey of the area which revealed a single suspected bear track. The impression, which had been rained on, measured around 3 inches wide and 6 inches in length. And yes, black bears have been spotted around Maryland in that area, so yeah, that's a natural, logical conclusion. Yes, bears can stand on their hind legs, making them look a lot larger than they actually are, but they can't really run on their hind legs. And everybody had said that they saw this creature on 2 legs run. sprint more or less, like move quickly. Doesn't sound like a bear to me. And I just want to point out, black bears, while big, I don't know if they can get about 12 to 15 feet high when they stand on their hind legs. Maybe anywhere from 5 to 7 or 8 feet in length, right? So I don't know if that translates. I feel like when they stand up, they're about as tall as me. I'm about 6'1", so that seems like a very big bear. And one of the workers grew up in West Virginia, and he had been around black bears. He'd seen them a lot in the wild. He'd come in direct contact with them. I believe he even hunted them. So he had had exposure to them, and he knew what a black bear did. And he said, this was definitely no black bear. So let's just say all of this was a hoax. This is just a story made up by the workers and even the police officer, which seems a bit questionable. Why would they go through all the trouble of doing this? Why? To drum up publicity for the new mall that's about to be built? It already had plenty of publicity. It didn't need the help of Sasquatch to make it any more newsworthy. And why go through all the trouble of making up this story? You don't want to be known as the crazy people that saw Bigfoot. Like, that's the last thing you want to do. Everyone's going to think you're crazy for doing it. Like, what was the end goal if it was some type of elaborate hoax? Eventually, the police officer who took the report confided in Timothy Arcaselli. Hope I'm saying that right, probably not. He was an investigator who arrived on scene just 24 hours after the initial incident in 2000. The officer said, quote, "Now I'll tell you this, just between you and me, this thing was huge and it didn't move when I shined a light on it." Again, we got a cop, we got these workers. I don't know, like what would be the end goal of just making a hoax like this? Okay, so in the end, there's a lot of strange things associated with this story. First, one of the 3 workers didn't even really want any part of this investigation. So that could go either 2 ways. Either it was a hoax and he wanted no part of it, or it was real and he wanted no part of it. So I feel like that kind of cancels it out. And second, Frizzell had trouble getting the police report initially. It took him about a year to get it, but he finally got it. And there was also just a complete lack of, I don't know, news covering this, which kind of makes sense. It's a Bigfoot sighting. I don't think any major news is going to cover it. Why would they? They seem like laughingstocks. But apparently there was a large government presence that came in to help the Department of Natural Resources, which, I don't know. I'm getting a little bit of red flags from that. You know what I'm saying? Why is there so many government officials coming in here? And they're here for apparently a while, like just going in and out of the woods. It's a large military presence. Why didn't the news at least cover that? There's a couple things out there that are sus. And it gets even crazier because apparently the Department of Natural Resources pretty much pressured that police officer who took the report and was on site and he saw what happened. They pressured him into saying, it's a black bear. If you want to keep your job, it's a black bear. So I don't know. There's a lot of questions. I have more questions than answers at this point. I want to believe. I just don't know if I should believe. You know? Does that make sense? I want this giant hairy cryptid to be real. Wouldn't it be crazy if I turned around and there was one like right there behind me? I'll just keep waiting. I don't know, there's a lot of trash back there. I feel bad if Sasquatch is in the woods and there's just so much trash there. Very disrespectful on our part. Just gotta make a quick little pit stop to pick up a couple little props for this next segment. Yep. A couple more things here. Oh my God. Just believe. Does it fit my head? I had to put it on the last little ring here. Okay, this could work. Decided to do this in the car because all of a sudden it got really windy and cold out, which could affect the final outcome of this joke. But you know what? We're here now. Let's just do it. It's going to look awesome. So, in conclusion, I don't really know what to believe. All I know is a couple people saw some really strange things that night, and they can't really explain it. I don't think it was a bear. I don't think it was a grizzly bear either. Those are bigger, but they're not, I don't think there's really any on this part of the country. Could it be a black bear? I don't know. Maybe like a giant mutant black bear. Regardless, I think these guys saw something And I believe them. I believe the fact that they saw something. What it was, I have no idea. All I know is this, that some hero, and I don't like to just throw that word out there very casually, but in this case, this person was in fact a hero. They left a green sign at this location, kind of commemorating what happened here that day back on August 1st, 2000. I don't know who that person is, and I don't know what happened to that sign, but I have decided to make a new sign and leave it here for everyone to know and see that back in August 1st, 2000, a Bigfoot might have been here. Also, I don't know what is wrong with my head. I just cannot find a hat that fits my head. I'm on the last rung of this thing, and it's ready to blow off of my freaking head. Is this a child's hat? I don't know. But another really amazing fact that I just noticed, that this Bigfoot is fishing, and the Bigfoot that was spotted here was right by the water. I mean, if that isn't fate, I don't know what is. I don't really want to jump over this fence. So, and also if I put the sign all the way over there, people aren't going to be able to see it. I want people to be able to see it and be able to know what happened here. Oh yeah, that's going to look real good. I can put it against this fence too. It's going to look sick. People driving by probably think I'm like protesting something. That little hammer. The snow in Maryland is evolved from just snow to now concrete. So I have to like literally use a hammer to hammer it into the snow. There we go. Guys, we did it. We did it. Never forget. Never forget. Never forget what happened here. Never forget. And I am legit leaving that sign here, by the way. That is, it's nailed into the ground. It's attached to the fence. It's like a plaque now. It's official.